And I will say, and I will say more about that in a moment. So I've got a very short introduction, 5 or 10 minutes, to say something about Buddha Day and what we're going to be doing this evening. After that, we have a reading on the Sat Sitaya. And the Sat Sitaya means 7 weeks, and it's the 7 weeks immediately following the Buddha's enlightenment. And Beata and Annie are going to be helping me with that. Then we will be having a meditation, probably quite a short meditation. And then we will be, then we have a puja. And the puja will be based around the Buddha Shakyamuni. It will include the Shakyamuni mantra, during which you can make offerings, and that will be led by Kath Dixon. And there will also be a reading during the puja, which will again consist of myself and Beata and Annie. So let's get underway then. So this is the Buddha Day celebration, celebrating the original Buddha Day, the day that the Buddha became enlightened. And this enlightenment occurred, according to tradition, 589 BCE. So that's 2,609 years ago. At least that's tradition, although these days most scholars think that it was actually around 100 years later than that. But be that as it may, we're celebrating the original Buddha Day. And that enlightenment of the Buddha took place, as you may well be aware, under the Bodhi tree at Bodhgaya in North India. So I'm just endeavoring to show a picture. Not sure that's working very well. Hold on a second. There we go. So the original enlightenment took place under this Bodhi tree, or at least a parent of it, at Bodhgaya in northern India. And this is the foremost place of Buddhist pilgrimage in the world, which you can visit yourself today, or at least you could if it were not for COVID, of course. Nowadays, in addition to the Bodhi tree itself, there is a magnificent Mahabodhi temple and its wonderful grounds. And to be honest, it's not really a location for solitude and quiet contemplation, because it's a place of great colour, joy, and celebration, with pilgrims from all corners of the Buddhist world, as well as Indian school children enjoying school trips and eating jam sandwiches, and tourists from India and beyond. It's my favourite place on earth. You're probably familiar with the stories of the events leading up to the Enlightenment, where Mara, for example, tried various schemes to distract and threaten the Buddha, or Siddhartha Gautama, as he was prior to the Enlightenment, to try and prevent him becoming the Buddha. But tonight we're going to focus on the period immediately after the Enlightenment, the so-called Sat Sitaya, the 7 weeks. So during this 7-week period, immediately following the Enlightenment, the Buddha stayed in the environment around the Bodhi tree. And there he was trying to take in, trying to understand, trying to come to terms with, assimilating what had happened to him and thinking about what he was going to do next. How could this thing that couldn't be put into words be communicated? Could it be communicated? Would anyone listen? I had the good fortune to attend an order retreat at Bodhgaya that had the Sat Sitaya as its theme. Each day, Subhuti, who's a senior order member, would give a talk on one of the 7 weeks. And then afterwards, we would walk down to the Mahabodhi temple and would meet in the grounds at the very place where the events took place. So tonight we will hear about the events of the Sat Sitaya. Then we will meditate as if we were at the Mahabodhi temple under the Bodhi tree. And then we will hold a puja where we will hear the Buddha's mantra, the Shakyamuni mantra, during which we can make any offerings if we wish to do so. And we will hear another reading of another event from the Sat Sitaya. So, without further ado then, let's turn to the Sat Sitaya, a 7-week period after the Enlightenment, where I'm going to be assisted by Annie and Beata and explain something of what happened. So, week 1, the first week after the Enlightenment, under the Bodhi tree.
During the first week after enlightenment, the Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree, experiencing the happiness of freedom and peace. Throughout the week, he sat in one position, experiencing the Vimukti Suva, the bliss of emancipation.
Week 2, gazing at the tree.
During the second week, in thanks and gratitude to the tree that had sheltered him during his struggle for Buddhahood, the Buddha stood without moving his eyes as he meditated on the Bodhi tree. Following this example, it is a custom of Buddhists to pay respect to not only the original Bodhi tree, but also to the descendants of the Bodhi tree that still thrive today.
Week 3, the Golden Bridge.
In the third week, the Buddha saw through his mind's eye that the devas in the heavens were not sure whether he attained enlightenment, as the Buddha had not given up his temporary residence at the Bodhi tree. To clear their doubts, he created, by his psychic powers, a golden bridge in the air and walked up and down it for a whole week.
Week 4, the Jeweled Chamber.
In the fourth week, the Buddha created the Ratanagara, a beautiful jeweled chamber, and sitting inside it, meditated on what was later known as a detailed teaching, or Abhidharma. His mind and body were so purified that 6 colored rays came out of his body: blue, yellow, red, white, orange, and a mixture of these 5. Today, these 6 colors make up the Buddhist flag. Each color represented one noble quality of the Buddha. Yellow for holiness, white for purity, blue for confidence, red for wisdom, and orange for desirelessness. The mixed color represented all these noble qualities.
Week 5. 3 girls.
Whilst meditating under the Ajayapala Banya tree, the Buddha replied to the Brahmana who came to see him that one becomes a perfect Brahmana by one's deeds and not by birth. 3 most charming girls called Tanya, Rapti, and Raga, the daughters of Mara, came to disturb his meditation. They danced in the most seductive manner and did everything to tempt the Buddha to watch their dance. Yet he continued to meditate unperturbed, and soon they tired and left him alone.
Week 6. The Muchalinda tree.
The Lord was staying at Uravila beside the river Neranjara at the foot of the Muchalinda tree. At that time, the Lord sat cross-legged for 7 days, experiencing the bliss of liberation. Now it happened that there occurred out of season a great rainstorm, and for 7 days there were rain, clouds, cold winds, and unsettled weather. Then Muchalinda, the Naga king, left his dwelling place, and having encircled the Lord's body 7 times with his coils, he stood with his great hood spread over the Lord's head, thinking to protect the Lord from cold and heat, from gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and the touch of creeping things. At the end of those 7 days, the Lord emerged from that concentration. Then Muchalinda, the Naga king, seeing that the sky had cleared and the rain clouds had gone, removed his coils from the Lord's body. Changing his own appearance and assuming the appearance of a youth, he stood in front of the Lord with his hands folded together, venerating him. Then, on realizing its significance, the Lord uttered on that occasion this inspired utterance. Happy are they who are contented. Happiness is for those who hear and know the truth. Happy are they who have goodwill in this world towards all sentient beings. Happy are they who have no attachments and have passed beyond sense desires. The disappearance of the word I am is indeed the highest happiness.
Week 7. The Rajaya Tama tree.
During the 7th week, the Buddha meditated under the Rajayatana tree. On the 5th morning, after 7 weeks of fasting, 2 merchants came into his presence. They were called Tapusa and Balika. They offered the Buddha rice cakes and honey to break his fast, and the Buddha told them some of what he'd found in his enlightenment. Those 2 merchants, by taking refuge in the Buddha and his Dharma, became the first lay followers. There was no Sangha then. They asked the Buddha for something sacred to keep with them, and the Buddha wiped his head with his right hand and pulled out some hair to give to them. These hair relics, called Kesadaka, were later reputed to be enshrined by the merchants on their return home to what is now known as Myanmar in the Shredagon Pagoda in Rangoon.
So now we will begin a period of meditation. So as I mentioned, I invite you to transport yourself in your imagination underneath the Bodhi tree. Where we can sit and meditate together. We will be meditating for about 30 minutes, and I will ring the bells for the mindfulness of breathing. So allow yourself to become comfortable. Seated beneath the Bodhi tree. With the other members of the Sangha gathered here tonight, and fellow pilgrims from all over the world. Although they may speak a completely different language, we share a deeper understanding. The Dharma. Feel the warmth of the sun, its rays peeking through the leaves of the Bodhi tree. Gentle breeze. Here and there are dogs curled up in a sleep. And every so often, one of the leaves detaches itself from the tree and flutters gently to the ground. Remembering that it was at this very place, this very day, 2,609 years ago, according to the Buddhist tradition, that the Buddha gained enlightenment. The mindfulness of breathing. The second stage. third stage. fourth stage. Well, welcome back. So we'll continue now with our puja. So during the puja, we'll have the Shakyamuni mantra. So that will follow the first section, the worship section. So Kath Dixon will be leading us in the Shakyamuni mantra. So feel free to make any offerings you may wish to do so at that time, either physically or mentally, imaginatively. After the entreaty and supplication, we'll have a reading of a Charna Sutta. So this is an event that also took place during the Sutta Satya, an important event where the Buddha encountered Brahma Sahampati. So Brahma Sahampati is you might call him a mythical figure. He is traditionally regarded as quite a senior deity in the Buddhist pantheon. On the other hand, some people like to attribute the deities and so on to psychological processes that are going on within the Buddha, debating when, how, if it's possible to be able to teach. But I'll leave the interpretation up to you. So again, I'll be assisted by Beata and Annie in reading the Avachana Sutta. Beata will be playing the part of the Buddha, and Annie will be playing the part of Brahma Sahampati. So, I think that's all I need to say. So, let's press on then. So, if you're new or relatively new to the Seven-Fold Puja, we'll be chanting the puja in call and response, or perhaps more accurately, call and repeat. And feel free to join in, or feel free to just listen if you would prefer. Seven-Fold Puja. Worship. With Mandarava, Blue Lotus, and Jasmine. With all flowers pleasing and fragrant. And with garlands skillfully woven. I pay honour to the princes of the sages, so worthy of veneration. I envelop them in clouds of incense, sweet and penetrating. I make them offerings of food, hard and soft, and pleasing kinds of liquids to drink. I offer them lamps encrusted with jewels, festooned with golden lotus. On the paving, sprinkled with perfume, I scatter handfuls of beautiful flowers.
Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakya Muni Swaha. 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 Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Shakya Muni Swaha.
Salutation. As many atoms as there are, in the 1,000,000,000 worlds, so many times I make reverent salutation to all the Buddhas of the 3 eras, to the Siddharma, and to the excellent community. I pay homage to all the shrines, and places in which the Bodhisattvas have been. I make profound obeisance to the teachers and those to whom respectful salutation is due. Going for refuge. This very day, I go for my refuge to the powerful protectors whose purpose is to guard the universe, the mighty conquerors who overcome suffering everywhere. Wholeheartedly also I take my refuge in the Dharma they have ascertained, which is the abode of security against the rounds of rebirth. Likewise, in the host of Bodhisattvas, I take my refuge. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Anatipata Paramani Sikhapadam Samadhyami. Adinadana, Eramani, Sekaparang, Samadhyami, Kamesu, Nichachara, Eramani, Sekaparang, Samadhyami, Musavada, Veramani, Sekapadam, Samadhyami, Suramarya, Maja, Pamadtana, Veramani, Sekapadam, Samadhyami, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. With deeds of loving kindness, I purify my body. With open-handed generosity, I purify my body. With stillness, simplicity, and contentment, I purify my body. With truthful communication, I purify my speech. With mindfulness clear and radiant, I purify my mind. Confession of faults. The evil that I have heaped up through my ignorance and foolishness, evil in the world of everyday experience, as well as evil in understanding and intelligence. All that I acknowledge to the protectors. Standing before them, with hands raised in reverence, and terrified of suffering, I pay salutations again and again. May the leaders receive this kindly, just as it is with its many faults. What is not good, O protectors? I shall not do again. rejoicing in merit. I rejoice with delight in the good done by all beings, through which they obtain rest with the end of suffering. May those who have suffered be happy. I rejoice in the release of beings from the sufferings of the rounds of existence. I rejoice in the nature of the Bodhisattva and the Buddha, who are protectors. I rejoice in the arising of the will to enlightenment and the teaching, those oceans that bring happiness to all beings and are the abode of welfare of all beings. Entreaty and supplication. Saluting them with folded hands. I entreat the Buddhas in all the quarters. May they make shine the lamp of the Dharma for those wandering in the suffering of delusion. With hands folded in reverence, I implore the conquerors desiring to enter nirvana. May they remain here for endless ages, so that life in this world does not grow dark. So now we have a reading from the Avijjana Sutta. So as I mentioned, Beata is taking on the role of the Buddha, and Annie is taking on the role of Brahma Sahampati. So Annie, unmute. Of our charnas, the request. Heard that on one occasion, Blessed One, he was staying on the bank of the Ranjara River at the foot of the goat tree. While he was alone and in seclusion, this line of thinking rose in his awareness.
This Dharma that I have attained is deep, hard to see, hard to realize, peaceful, refined beyond the scope of conjecture, subtle to be experienced by the wise. But this generation delights in attachment, is excited by attachment, enjoys attachment. For a generation delighting in attachment, excited by attachment, enjoying attachment, This conditionality and dependent co-arising are hard to see. This state too is hard to see. The resolution of all fabrications, the relinquishment of all acquisitions, the ending of craving, dispassion, cessation, unbinding. And if I were to teach the Dharma, and if others would not understand me, that would be tiresome for me, troublesome for me.
Just then, spoken in the past, unheard before, occurred to the blessed.
Enough now with teaching what only with difficulty I reached. This Dhamma is not easily realized by those overcome by with aversion and passion. What is the truth, subtle, deep, hard to see, going against the flow? Those delighting in passion, cloaked in the mass of darkness, won't see. As the Blessed One reflected thus, his mind inclined to dwelling at ease, not to teaching the Dharma.
Then the Master, having known the line of faith in the Blessed Ones,
The world is lost. The world is destroyed. The mind of the Tathagata, the Arahant, the rightly self-awakened one, inclines to dwelling at ease, not to teaching the Dharma.
then just as a strong man, then next arm, extended arm, Brahma Sahampa appeared from the Brahma world and he appeared in front of the Blessed One. Changing the robe over one shoulder, he knelt down, his knee on the ground, saluted the Blessed, his hands before his heart, and said to him, hold on a moment, please. Ami and Beata, you both seem to have become mute.
Oh, okay.
How that happened? I will just go through that bit again. Then, just as strong might extend his flexed arm or flex his extended arm, Brahma Sahampati disappeared from the Brahma world and reappeared in front of one over one down, with his right knee on the ground, saluted the Blessed, hands before his heart, and said to him,
Lord, let the Blessed One teach the Dharma. Let the one well gone teach the Dharma. There are beings with little dust in their eyes who are falling away because they do not hear the Dharma. They will be those that will understand the Dharma.
what Brahma Sahampati said. He further said this.
In the past, there appeared amongst the Magadhans an impure Dharma devised by the stained. Throw open the door to the deathless. Let them hear the Dharma realized by the stainless one. Just as one standing on a rocky crag might see people all around below, so, O wise one, with all-round vision, ascend the palace fashioned of the Dharma. Free from sorrow, behold the people submerged in sorrow, oppressed by birth and aging. Rise up, hero, victor in battle. O teacher, wander without debt in the world. Teach the Dharma, O blessed one. There will be those who will understand.
And the Blessed One understood Brahma's act, surveyed the eye of an awakened one. He saw beings with little in their eyes, and those with keen faculties, and those with dull, those with good attributes, and those easy to teach, and those hard. Some of them grace and danger in the other world. As in a pond of blue or red or lotuses, some lotuses, born and growing in the water, might flourish. water without rising up. Some might stand up with the water, while some get up from the water and stand being smeared by the two, surveying the world one, the Blessed One saw dust in their eyes, those with keen faculty, those with dull, those with bound, and those high, seeing disgrace and danger in the world. Seeing, he answered, Brahma Saham,
Open are the doors to the deathless, to those with ears. Let them show their conviction. Perceiving trouble, O Brahma, I did not tell people the refined, sublime Dhamma.
then Brahma, speaking king,
The Blessed One has given his consent to teach the Dharma.
sang to the Blessed One, and the Heart Sutra. The Bodhisattva of compassion, when he meditated deeply, saw the emptiness of all five skandhas and sundered the bonds that caused him suffering. Hear then, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is only emptiness, emptiness only form. Feeling, thought, and choice, consciousness itself, are the same as them. All things are by nature void. They are not born or destroyed, nor are they stained or pure, nor do they wax or wane. So, in emptiness, no form, no feeling, thought, or choice, nor is there consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no colour, sound, smell, taste, touch, or what the mind takes hold of, nor even act of sensing. No ignorance or end of it, nor all that comes of ignorance. No withering, no death, no end of them. Nor is there pain, or cause of pain, or cease in pain, or noble path to lead from pain. Not even wisdom to attain. Attainment too is empty. So know that the Bodhisattva, holding to nothing whatever, but dwelling in prajna wisdom, is freed of delusive hindrance, rid of the fear bred by it, and reaches clearest nirvana. All Buddhas of past and present, Buddhas of future time, using this prajna wisdom, come to full and perfect vision. Hear then the great Taranita, the radiant peerless mantra, the prajna Taranita, whose words allay all pain. Hear and believe its truth. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhiswaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhiswaha. Transference of merit and self-surrender. May the merit gained in my acting thus go to the alleviation of the suffering of all beings. My personality throughout my existences, my possessions, and my merit in all three ways. I give up without regard to myself for the benefit of all beings. Just as the earth and other elements are serviceable in many ways to the infinite number of beings inhabiting limitless space, so may I become that which maintains all beings, situated throughout space, so long as all have not attained to peace. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Arapachina Devi. Om Arapachina Devi. Om Arapachina Devi. Om Vajrapani Om. Om Vajrapani Om. Om Vajrapani Om. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Tu Re. Swaha. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Tu Re. Swaha. Om Tare. Tu Tare. Tu Re. Swaha. Om Mani Deva Hri. Om Mani Deva Hri. Om Mani Deva Hri. Om Mani Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha. Om Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Mahamuni Shakyamuni Swaha Om Mahom Vajraguru Padma Siddhi Hom Om Mahom Vajraguru Padma Siddhi Hom Om Mahom Vajraguru Padma Siddhi Hom Gate Gate Pada Gate Pada Sangate Bodhi Swaha Gate Gate Pada Gate Pada Sangate Bodhi Swaha Gate Gate Pada Gate Pada Sangate Bodhi Swaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Well, that brings us to the end of our Buddha Day Sangha night. Thank you all for coming along and celebrating it together.